From Steve, dear sir, who has so many titles of brilliance that I'll forget one when properly addressing you, and I wouldn't want to disrespect you in that manner, so I hope you're all right with me calling you Sir Klavan. Actually, it's Lord Klavan. Throughout the summer, I have been struggling with lust. Whenever I see attractive women, I tend to think lustful thoughts and have had lustful dreams in my sleep. What are some ways to help refocus how I view my fellow female peers as children of God? Well, that's really interesting, because I always try to answer the question that I'm asked, not the question that I think is coming or the question that the listeners want to hear. I always try to answer the question I ask. And so what he's saying is, what are some ways to help refocus how I view my fellow female peers as children of God, which is a really good question, because women don't understand this. Women do not know what it is to be, especially a young man. Obviously, you cool off a little bit as you go on. But when you're a young man, women do not understand the force of the desire that men live with, the desire not just to have sex with women, but the desire to have sex with various women, so that being married itself can be a real trial. There are certain days when you just think, I have to have variety. This is built into the system. It is put there by God. It is what we are, how we are made, so it's not something that you're going to be fighting against. Now, people always quote Jesus when he said, you've heard it said that thou shalt not commit adultery, but even if you have lust in your heart, that is adultery. But I don't think Jesus is saying, therefore, you're a bad guy. What he's saying, therefore, you are in a state of sin. This is not what man was made to be originally, but it is what we are now. So the question is not, how can you get rid of your lust? You can't. I mean, that is the way men feel, and it's really difficult, especially, like I said, when you're young. It is really difficult dealing with women. My father gave me, he did not give me a lot of good advice, but this is a great piece of advice he gave me. I'm going to translate it out of obscenity, because it was obscene when he gave it to me. But basically, when I was a young man and I grew up during the 60s, and things got very sexual very fast for me. And he gave me the piece of advice. He said, just remember that every one of those beautiful women's bodies has a human being inside it. Okay, that's not quite how he put it, but let's just say that was the idea. And that is something that I always have tried to remember, that the person you're talking to is not just a form and a shape that excites you, is actually a person with an entire universe inside herself that is there. And that is, look, you're not your body. You are a person. You are a full, complete person. Your body is one component of that. Your body is doing what your body is supposed to do. Your body is supposed to desire and reproduce and have sex and begin a new generation. That is one of the things your body is made to do. But you are not your body. And in dealing with human beings, you can lust after them all you want, but just remember that there's a human being inside that shape that you lust for, and treat her that way. Treat her that way. It'll actually improve your life in general. I hope that's helpful. There's nothing I can say to you that'll make the lust go away. Like I said, it cools over time, but it never goes away. Well, maybe I shouldn't say that. Maybe it does eventually, but it takes its time. It takes its time leaving.